Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. How's everybody doing? Welcome to Thursday Talks at Heal Black Joy. And in today's conversation, we are going to be talking about holistic living in the Black community. Hi, I'm Lola Troy, the host and curator of Heal Black Joy, the learning platform for our community to heal our Black joy with tangible programs and attainable programs for the mind, body, soul, relationships, and businesses. And today our guest is Edouard Gilles. He's a medical Qigong instructor, a holistic health and wellness coach, and motivational speaker that lives by a mission to empower millennials to take a holistic approach to life. To help people strengthen their mental capacities, he teaches individuals how to include holistic tools in their routines to help reduce anxiety and improve their well-being. Aside from coaching one-on-one, he empowers audiences of all different sizes as a workshop facilitator, a keynote speaker, and a Qigong instructor. So I'm going to get him in our live. See if he can get in here. I just sent him. Hi,
Hey, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you, the holistic motivator?
I am blessed and I am highly favored just out here putting in the work and just living
Awesome.
life.
Living life, right?
Yeah.
Living life. So, Heal Black Joy Tribe, let's welcome the holistic motivator. Yay!
How you doing? How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. I'm doing really good. So, this month we've been talking about all things related to our health, right? And I think it's something that we really need to get into this discussion about holistic health because, as you know, in our community, there's so many diseases that plagues our community for different reasons. I mean, hypertension is really big, diabetes. We had a diabetes conversation last week, which is, the statistics for Black Americans with diabetes is beyond, it's through the roof. Heart disease, and more. So a lot of Blacks have been switching over and adopting a holistic lifestyle. So, from your point of view, tell me one, how did you start your holistic journey and where did it stem from? What prompted you? Did you start off holistically or did you make a switch holistically? Cannot hear you.
Okay, I'm about to show y'all something real quick. So basically what you're looking at now is meridians, herbs, and this is actually a room, the acupuncture room. I'm actually
Okay.
by Dr. Love's office here, right?
Yeah.
Give you a little backstory. I wasn't all into Chinese medicine, Qigong, Tai Chi, holistic living. I was just an athlete, really. I was really good with my body since I was a kid. And what I realized was I had some grit within me, like I
Mm-hmm.
work a little harder and that motivated other people just by me doing that.
Mm-hmm.
So when I was in high school, when I was in college, freshman year, I had like a $5,000 scholarship. I had many scholarships. I lost them all. I went home and I was like, damn, what am I going to do now? How am I going to pay for school? How am I going to hold things together? And I said, you know what? All I've been doing all my life is using my body, moving, using my mind, and I'm just a motivational person. So you know what? I became a personal trainer, and that's how I got into it, right? And I just
Okay.
started helping people with their physical bodies. So I started with that, and then that kind of led me into fitness, which slowly but surely led me into holistic living, holistic healing. Okay. But the long story short was I was actually training somebody at the beach, and I was telling her, push, push, drive them knees up. Like, yo, you better keep going. And then
Right.
I saw a black gentleman who was much older than me. I'm like, man, he was doing many different moves. There was like doing all this qigong on the beach, and I saw all these people doing these twists and moves. I'm like, what is he doing? And I just
Right.
kept seeing it every day. I wasn't not. They say when a student is ready, the teacher will come. I was not ready for all of that, but I was just like, okay, go, keep doing, run, push. And my clients would come back to me 2, 3 months later, like, I lost the weight, Ed, the motivation to work, but I didn't keep it off. Right.
Mm.
Ed, it's one thing about my fitness. I'm working on that, but my self-esteem is a certain way. But I'm having an issue with food. I have food addiction. But I can't, I'm stressed all the time. So I found out, I was like, oh, okay. Exercise helps people a lot to transform it's a pillar part of changing, but it's not
Mm-hmm.
enough. It was not
Right.
enough.
Right.
So that's when I literally sought out other ways of healing. And then I stepped into Qigong, I stepped into the food and the herbs, and I stepped into how the energy system works. And that's how I kind of like slowly but surely got into the wellness field. So I transformed my business from just working on the body to working on both the spiritual body, the emotional body, the energy body, because I realized that everybody was not achieving their fitness goals because they had mental clutter, they had spiritual clutter, and we had to get rid of all of that. And that's where the process got started. And of course, it's way deeper than that. But I'm gonna let you. We're gonna talk it out.
Absolutely. I posted that this week about holistic living means that your spiritual, relational, emotional, intellectual, and physical lives are all working together. And I think that is so important. And I don't think a lot of people know the connection between your spiritual, emotional, intellectual, and physical body. They all work hand in hand. So, like you were saying, people were losing the weight, but it wasn't sustainable because their emotional health was failing or their mental health was failing. So can you talk about how your emotions are tied to your holistic, your physical health? Because I was just talking on last week to a young lady who is type 1 diabetic. And she discovered 6 months after her father committed suicide that she was type 1 diabetic. And my holistic doctor, I love my holistic doctor, Dr. Mark, shout out to Dr. Mark Armstrong. He gave me a book years ago called Feelings Buried Alive Never Die. And what happened was I looked inside of the book specifically for type 1 diabetes, and I read those emotions that were tied to type 1 diabetes. And she said she had experienced all of them. It was, extreme loss, sudden loss, grief stricken. All of those things were tied to her developing diabetes, and it stemmed from her father committing suicide. I also know that from my holistic doctor, when someone dies or someone walks out of your life or someone leaves for whatever reason, your body still processes that the very same way. And it processes it as abandonment. So she was feeling abandoned by her father and didn't even know why. And she was only 9 years old. So, can you talk to how your mental and emotional health is tied to your physical health?
100%. I mean, what you just said is definitely a great starting point because every disease has an underlying emotional state that was undealt with for a long period of time that led to certain decisions and stagnation. So not only did the decision cause certain stagnation, the emotion itself causes certain blockages. So if we
Mm-hmm.
go back and say, hey, if I feel a certain way, there are certain things I'm going to do to either face it, which most people don't,
Right.
or avoid it, right? So what happens is both the avoidance activities then lead to certain accumulation of certain things based on how you eat, the thoughts that you think about, the energies that you just give off. All of that is going to affect your health, right? But not just that, they found out, and by they, I just mean the research, all the wisdom accumulated over centuries, is that certain emotional states actually affect certain organs. That's actually one of some of the major things that I learned in my qigong training was what organs are affected by what emotional state and what movement and breathing pattern to do to actually help you restore balance or vitality. So basically, I'm actually going to give you a quick overview that everyone can remember about your organs and your emotions, how it's affected, right? So we're going to start with five major organs. We got five major organs. We got the lung, we got the heart, we have the spleen, the liver, and the kidneys. So in Chinese medicine, we learned that once you take care of those five major organs are going to take care of you, because those five major organs are some of the most important ones that we need to focus on. And if they're healthy, a lot of the diseases like hypertension and diabetes, guess what? Won't be happening to us, right? So, like, okay, what are those five organs and what limiting emotions cause them to get less vital, get sick a little bit, or get, drained? And I say
Mm-hmm.
limiting emotions because not because they're bad or good emotions, but if you stay in them, they limit the amount of vitality you can have. They limit what you can actually experience. So let's say you stay in the emotional state of anger. Not saying anger is a bad thing. Sometimes you got to get mad, right?
Right.
A lot of things shifted because somebody got angry, right? So there's nothing wrong with anger. But if you house all of it in you and you don't express what you feel, then that affects your liver in a negative way, right? So now you start to have liver issues, which then affects many other things. So you're like, yo, leave her alone. No, it's her liver. That was just a little, I got, it's kind of dry. Liver.
we but we missed the joke.
Okay, right? And then we have the liver because you have to leave her alone, right? You're making her too mad, you're making him too mad. Then you got the spleen, which is the sister or the brother of the liver, which helps detoxify and clean out the blood. It's like, yo, it's also part of your digestive system. And now, once you worry a lot, said it's a limiting emotional state, your spleen will be affected, right? A lot of people can't go a day without thinking about what tomorrow holds. That's not going to work out, but they can go without their spleen. So that's a lot of times they take out the spleen, but you can live, but it has another function. So then just you got the kidneys. If the kidneys are in the back, right, you have two kidneys, one right, you got one left. And the thing is, a lot of people remain in fear, especially during this time. Everybody is either encouraged or in fear. But if you're not taking hold of your mind and you're not taking hold of your mental real estate, anybody can come in and dump trash in it, right? And all of a sudden they could paint all type of scary movies in your mind, and you start to believe that it's true and it becomes your reality. And over time, that's gonna deplete your kidneys, right? Just by, hey man, you scared of everything. So now, remember when we were talking about grief? Let's see, you're grieving a lot. Grieving is healthy. But a lot of times is the lack of grieving is what most people suffer with, right? Not necessarily just the grieving itself. It's running away from it. You know what I'm saying? And saying, I'm good.
Avoiding.
Avoiding it, right? And
Yeah.
there are different things that people do. And guess what? That affects your lungs, right? So now the shortness of breath, like, developing asthma after a period of time, right? So I've been really speaking, especially around this winter time, of what's the importance of grieving in a way where you treasure the person's life that have transitioned to another dimension. So besides that, we have the heart. Now you've ever heard like you broke my heart, man, breaking my heart, like that's a legit thing. So sadness then affects the heart, but love boosts it, right? So if you're sad all the time because of what somebody did or they didn't do, it means that you're giving your joy power to them. So you're definitely not going
Mm,
to heal your black joy if everybody's traumas become your determination if you're going to be joyful or not. Just because they have a trauma doesn't mean that you need to decide that on the basis of their trauma, I'm going to be joyful or not. No, on the basis of my healing, I choose to cultivate joy within me, regardless of how you think they're acting towards you. Once we are able to have that, we're able to literally, our heart and our lungs are effectively working. Because now you're like, yo, emotions, how does that affect? Guess what? If your heart is affected by sadness, not operating as vitally as it can, and your lung is depleted by either the lack of grieving or, not, you're like, yo, what's going to happen? The oxygen needs to get to the blood to fuel your organs. Now, you might not even have enough oxygen circulating through your blood because you're breathing in through your mouth, you're holding your breath, or you're exhaling too much. And all of these things are all correlated. So I just told you the 5 major organs and 5 limiting emotions that can drain them. There are also 5 empowering ones that can boost them up. So
I just put in the chat the 5 major organs: the liver, spleen, kidney, lungs, and heart. So let's dig into that belief, because those limited beliefs, because I think when I started this journey of Heal Black Joy, I started it out of frustration, where I was taking a manifestation class and the man was just talking about, oh, you can be joyous and you can manifest and you can do all these things. But I felt like he was missing a whole demographic of people, which is my community. And that was based off of our scope of living and our counterpart scope of living is 2 totally different things, right? There's been a lot of trauma with us. There's been a lot of grief with us. There's been a lot of model behavior from growing up in households where you're growing up around people that are angry. You're growing up around people that are fearful. You're growing up around people that are sad. So we've seen our grandmothers and our fathers and our mothers struggle with physical ailments based off of their emotional trauma that they've experienced that they've never dealt with. In my work as a coach, I realized that most of my coaching clients are basically what you said. They have stopped at dealing with their emotional trauma. They have avoided their emotional trauma. Last month, I did a whole month on an ode to Black men. And what I realized in every single conversation that I had that month was that Black men in particular hold on to their emotions. They don't really, outside of going to the gym or exercise, they don't really emote a lot. They don't really emote, and they don't feel like we create a safe space for them to emote. So there's a couple of layers to this that I think that we're experiencing as a collective that I think that we need to dig into. So what do you think about um, not only just right now dealing with those emotions, but Black men in particular not emoting, not letting those things out, and it is affecting their health, and just how we've modeled that behavior after what we've seen. I think we've got a couple of issues. Hopefully we'll get them back. We just Hopefully I can get them back. Hold on 1 second, you guys. This conversation is so good. Talking about holistic living in the Black community and how it is affecting not only our physical health, just the things that we do, our emotional health affects our physical health. I'm gonna see if I can get them back, or maybe we might have to do this and start over. Let me see. Trying to do it where I don't have. There you go.
Yeah, I just accidentally like clicked something. I got out the screen. I couldn't
I
get back
hope
in. It's
so.
weird. But hey, before we, my bad. Pin this comment for me right quick. Pin my next comment. And I definitely loved what you brought up because sometimes it's not even a question of man or woman, you know? It's like it's a question of like human and like how are you gonna perceive me and this my feelings make me weak. You know what I'm saying? And it is more prevalent within the males because part of our nature, the masculine, kind of like makes us feel as if we should stay away from the feminine part of us when it has to be a mixture because that's how, you know, I feel like a true healer is one that have learned to balance the masculine and feminine energies. And it's feeling what you feel and also being able to get up and be active about what you need to do, regardless of what's going on. This is where this is beneficial here. Because let's not get this wrong. If everybody and their mama was in their feelings 24/7, as if like, yo, I need to really feel every single thing that every pain, every trauma that ever happened to me, the world would not work. You get what I'm saying? But it's
Yeah.
not necessarily that we have to block out our feelings in order to work. It's just that we have to direct our minds and focus on what we're working on. And at the same time, when emotions come up, we learn how to recognize them and be able to not necessarily ignore them, but you're in the middle of work, you're dealing with a client, and all of a sudden, the client says something like, I don't think you can do this. And then all of a sudden, you remember, my dad said that to me. Guess what? Do you need to lash out on your client? Oh no, you're not gonna tell me you don't think you can do this, and you need to go in and tell them a piece of your mind out of a place that you're looking at a father figure, and you're rebelling against this father figure, or do you need to acknowledge the fact that hey, this triggered me. Mm. Now I need to step in my consciousness to share how I'm feeling without necessarily speaking and lashing as a kid. You know, they say you got to heal the child within and the woman which shows up. Part of healing the child within is not, oh, shut up, don't say nothing. It's more of, hey, listen, we're not a kid anymore. So let's talk like an adult, right? So then you express your truth in a way. It's not like, yo, oh, you don't tell me what I can or cannot do. It's like, oh, all right. You saying that this project is not available? Listen, I've had many years of experience. I am sure that this can happen. I know you might have a lack of belief in what's going to happen, but best believe me, if you do business with me, we're going to get you to the other side. You're like, whoa, what just happened? You you are able to now, guess what? You're able to feel what you feel and express what you desire, what you can do, what you want without lashing out on a way where it's almost like you're not really seeing the present situation. You're seeing a past trauma and you're operating out of that. So I think we have to have a balance between that.
Yeah, and what you're saying is so key because you got to know your emotional age, right? Um my sister that spoke to us about the fatherless generation. This was one of the conversations that we had that month of older Black men was so powerful. Some of the strongest Instagram lives that I've done and some of the most transformative that I've done so far. And she was talking about dealing with and knowing your emotional age because What you're describing is the filter, and the filter is what you haven't healed from when you were a child, whatever that childhood trauma was, or what you saw as a child and you're modeling that behavior after it. So if you saw your father lashing out and yelling and screaming, and his own his the switch that you either see is on or off, and his own switch is anger, and his off switch is disconnected, emotionally disconnected, then you're going to pattern your emotional behavior after what you've seen or what you've experienced.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think it's key that you not only know your emotional age, but you start going back and unpacking those things from your childhood so that you can show up as an adult. And I think when it comes to holistic living, it's not just what we put in our body, and it's not just what we think with our thoughts, but it's also how we present ourselves in the world.
Mm-hmm.
It's very important how we present ourselves in the world, because a lot of us are presenting ourselves as the hurt little girl and the hurt little boy that never grew up. We're
Mm-hmm.
doing that on our jobs. We're doing that in relationships. We're doing that everywhere we go. You know, we have a reaction. We're at the gas station, or somebody cuts us off in the road and we have road rage. It's because you feel at some point in time in your life you were not validated. So you want to be validated on the road, right? So that's why people have road rage.
Mm-hmm.
That's what's going on. You're showing up as that hurt little boy or that hurt little girl. So I think that's very important that we know what our emotional age is. You mentioned detoxing. You had a detox challenge that was
But
going on. I don't know if it's still going on now or not.
it's still going on. Before you go into that, you said something that was my mind was when you said that it said something came up.
Okay.
When you said about the emotional age, and you talked about also like you may be reacting, is because you're reacting out of it's a reaction. It's acting again of a past situation. That's what I say. A reaction or acting again of a past situation because you're having the same stuff. It's like you pull the trigger to the gun. This is almost like a reaction happening. Now the bullet is going straight out, right? Because every time you gotten a fear, you're like, oh, in order to protect myself, I need to shoot. Right. So some people actually do that a lot with their words, but not
Mm-hmm.
everybody have that. Not everybody shoot. Some people, instead of shooting, they run, fight or flight. Right. So some people, what they do in order to, they lash out. Other people, they say nothing at all. Right. Both of them at most time never really get to express their truth because one it seems like, oh, you just don't care, and the other one seems like, oh, you just loud. You get what I'm saying? So none of
Right.
which is heard. And now we can't mistake like having a passionate voice to be loud. Sometimes you just have a passionate voice. You want to express
Yeah.
what you want to express, but at the same time, you can be loud, you can be passionate, and you can express in a way where it's not lashing out. Lash means everything is your fault. When we lash, we don't even look at a place where we take part. We might even not even look at, there's not enough compassion out in lashing, right? Not
Mm.
enough compassion for your inner child, not enough compassion for the other person at the other end, not enough compassion for your spirit. So I say your presence is a present to the world if you present it well. And the thing
Mm.
is, a lot of people are not presenting their presence well because they're not in touch with it. So that's why we detox and fast to get in touch with your spirit, your
Mm.
presence, the thing of which occupies your body. When we eat a whole bunch of food, we may say, "Oh, I ate an apple today and I digested it, and that's it." No, when you eat a piece of apple, the ingredients in that apple feels your cellular at a cellular level, either becomes muscle tissue, blood, or something like that. Basically, apple became you. You ate a hot dog instead of apple, hot dog became you. So literally, our bodies are constructing of what we eat, but
Right.
we are not the body. So the moment we understand, oh, we are not the body, we're the presence within it, we understand that, hey, oh, I need to let go of my addiction to food. I need to let go of my addiction to eat, to suppress my emotion. And when that happens, now you're like, oh, okay, I'm a spirit in this body, which means that, hey, if I stop eating this for a while, I won't lose anything because all I'm doing actually is I'm cleaning out a temple so that my spirit can have a better place to roam, so I can be more creative, so that I can heal, so I can get in touch with stuff I need to get in touch with,
Right.
so I can actually release those emotional states. So a lot of people think detoxing, fasting is really about like losing 10, 20, 30 pounds.
Right.
It's not really that. It's really to restore vitality and balance to your cells and yourself. To your cells and yourself. We're talking about the fundamental basis of what makes you as a body and the fundamental basis of what makes you as a spirit.
Mm. That's deep. That's
Mhm.
deep because I think people lead with thinking that they are, what is this saying? We are a body having a spiritual experience. I can't remember
No,
exactly
oh,
what,
um we are spiritual beings having a human experience.
having a human experience.
Hmm.
Exactly. Yeah. And I think people have it the other way around. They think that we're having this human experience. It's just like, no, you're having a spiritual experience. You're just housed inside of a body, inside of a shell that we
Hmm.
need to take care of.
And
Um,
let's before you that's deep because guess what? If you are a spirit and using and having a human experience, then you gotta say, oh, guess what? If my human body is tainted, then that spirit is not having a great experience.
woo, woo, that's good.
So I need to figure out oh my goodness, how do I align myself so that my spirit, its powerful light like feature, can actually utilize this temple as a spiritual place to roam and create and manifest. Because you're like, yo, this is a temple. I'm the spirit within it. Oh, I need to make sure this temple is in a certain way, aligned in a certain way. And this
Mm.
is why we clear the creeks, the chakras. This is why we don't only clear the creeks of energy, but we clear the creeks when it comes to your literally how your blood is flowing. You got to get rid of the sludge in your blood. You got to get rid of the stuff that gets accumulated, the toxins that gets accumulated over time. Okay.
I was having a conversation last night and with another sister. It was with three beautiful, beautiful melanated sisters, and she asked a question about what does abundance mean to me. And my answer was abundance was not about things; it was about having access to the Creator, having access to the provision of the Creator. And you have to have that direct channel to the Creator. And a lot of times we don't have that direct channel to the Creator because of the sludge that is clogging our spiritual, emotional, and physical channel. Um, Talk to us about the detox. I know you just mentioned it a little bit, but talk to us about detoxing so that one, we are in alignment spiritually, two, that we are in alignment mentally, that we are in alignment emotionally, that we are in alignment physically. So talk to us about that because I believe when you're in alignment, what happens is it opens up you for creativity, things that your mind just starts imagining things that you can do, things that you can create. It puts you in a creative state, and it also it opens up that channel of not only creativity but for you to live an abundant lifestyle. I think that's what abundant, purposeful living is really all about. So talk to us about the detox, and what herbs do you use in your detox, and what is it used for?
So I want to go back to abundance and vision. You know, man spends their entire life trying to be rich, but the whole world is abundant.
Right,
So richness is usually a construct of man. Oh, if I have this and I'm validated in front of them and I can use this to get that, I'm rich. Wealth and abundance is within the earth. It is a God-given gift.
right,
And
right.
you see it when you are clear, right? So
Mm,
there's a so clarity is one major way. And clarity happens when you're clear. When you're blocked up, when you're clogged up, when you're toxic, you can say, there's a lack of clarity. And the lack of clarity means a lack of sight and insight. Not only are you not able to see what's happening in your own life and what's really happening around you because you're so clogged up with so many emotions, energies, thoughts, anxiety, fear, worry, blame, shame, depression, guilt. Now you can't even see what's around you, what's happening around you, now. Definitely not going to see what's happening within. So
yeah,
sight is what you see outside. Your sight gets blocked when you're toxic within. Insight is what you see inside. When you detox, it gives you enough insight so that way you can clear up certain things within yourself, act, ways of thinking, ways of perceiving, your mindset. When you have that insight, now you have a clarity of vision. So now you're able to see the world in a different light. Now you're like, oh, snap, I've been living all wrong. Now, when you have that clarity, you're able to make the decisions that's going to allow your body to be in line. So now, all of a sudden, thoughts just come in. Oh, snap, I should do that. You start
right.
getting more creative ideas because you literally cleared it up. You cleared up the bookshelf. Now you became the book.
Ooh, that's good. That's good.
So, so, so here's what. Um, and I have a great teacher. So that's why I've learned about detoxing. I just told Dr. Love today, like I've actually detoxed every season this year. And I was like, yo, thanks to you, because you put me on this. And basically what I learned from my teacher and that I passed down is that as you fast and detox, you
Hmm.
don't want to eat like I learned that you don't want to just jump into it. And this is what most people fail at. And this is what I've learned that's really effective is that you want to progressively let go. Okay. So the first thing that we guide you through is a letting go process. A lot of people are attached to food because they're attached to the emotion of those food. Hey, Lola, you want to know what emotions are stuck to the certain types of food?
Yes. Talk to
Well,
us.
there's the talk. I got you. So how many of y'all have some chocolate right before you about to pick up that chocolate bar right now? I see the Holy Mr. Motivator say, put that chocolate bar down. It's 8:30. Okay, put that chocolate. Okay, I'm just kidding. I'm not kidding though. I'm serious. But what I'm
Drop
saying
down in
is,
the comments if you're addicted
if
to chocolate.
God, how many times you eat chocolate? Okay. And guess what? I ain't even gonna talk to y'all like I don't be eating it. I love me some chocolate. But guess what? I'm gonna tell you exactly, and I'm conscious of it. Why I be needing some chocolate sometimes. Sometimes a brother just needs some love. And that's actually what it is. Sweet actually is correlated with love. So a lot of times when we feel like, hey, we don't have enough love, enough embrace, you don't have a girlfriend. And by the way, I'm single, y'all. I'm just, I'm single, ready to
Shameless
mingle.
plug. Shameless plug.
Shameless plug. Y'all hit up me in the DMs are open. But like, yo, we then say, okay, I need to get some sweet. When we feel like we need some comfort, is the creamy. So some people you mix the ice cream, you got the creamy and the sweet, where you comfort and love. But it's pseudo though, because it's not love comes within, comfort comes from a certain faith. Comfort also comes from a certain like aura that comforts you. But anyways, so What else? We have anxiety. How many of y'all like salty food? Y'all, some of y'all feeling salty right now. I'm feeling a little bit salty there. So anxiety has to do with your craving of salt, crunchy food that's associated with anger. Okay. So a lot of people, I'm so hungry, man. I need some chips. I need something to crunch on, right? So you got anger related to crunchy foods. And then what else am I missing? You got salty, creamy, sweet, crunchy. Definitely missing another one. But we got
Starchy.
starchy.
Starches. Like,
Well, this. Okay, but the starches also usually is gonna end up being either part salt, part sugar. So it's gonna mix in many, and most starch is gonna end up being sugar,
yeah.
glucose. So sour, now bitter is good for you, right? A lot of people like, I hate the bitter, don't give me nothing bitter. But you need to have that bitter tea. Like that's probably gonna help you. But anyways, what usually happens is we eat ourselves out of emotion. So what happens is our relationship with food becomes a reaction. So we're not necessarily responding to our emotions with action. We're reacting to them with munching, with food. So you're like, yo, you got to start by letting go. First, you have to start noticing am I eating late at night? Am I overeating at certain times? Right? Why do I do it? And how often have I been doing it? Let me ask you a question. In fact, there's something called bulimia nervosa, right? And of course, some people say it's binge eating disorder. It's just a continuous, it's just a continuous decision that you make subconsciously to just do what you've normally been doing. That's what it
Okay.
is. It's not a disorder, I say. It's just that you haven't put order in your routine and habits. And the moment you start healing, you start to work back, you start to develop more self-love. So much of these stuff then diminishes the cravings. So the first week you start by letting go of certain foods. So we let go of the 5 whites that cause the sludge in the blood, which just means literally clogging your arteries. So you start letting go of white flour, white animal fat, white dairy, white sugar, white salt. So within a course of 7 days, you let go and you replace your meals with a vegetable juice. Okay, so that's the first week. And we start with day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, day 5, day 6, day 7. And then the second week, I like to say letting God. Okay, this is when you communicate to the spirit, to source, to the universe, whatever it is that you say has created and birthed you. And by that I mean this is your fast. This is when you're only drinking tea, you're drinking water, and you're drinking vegetable juice. Okay, some of you want to know what that juice is, right? I might not even tell y'all all of them.
Somebody is asking about pinning these. So you let go first. Let
I'm not even
go.
saying some people are.
Please tell me he didn't get out again. Well, while he comes back, in this conversation, good, you guys, this conversation is amazing. Um, I love the fact that he is discussing the 5 major organs and breaking down those things. I love the fact that he's talking about the emotions that are tied to food. I love the fact that he's getting ready to break down how to do a detox and letting go. Um, so let's see. I think he's coming back. He's got to get back in here. We're going to try to get him back, you guys. This conversation is good. I hope you are sharing it with your people because this information is amazing. Let's see. Keeps trying to let me in. Let's see if I can get him back in here. I know you're in. I'm trying to accept it. Send me another request if you don't mind. Let me see if I can get you that way. I just sent you a request. I just sent you a request. See if you can get it that way. Instagram is not letting us be great tonight, you guys, but we're going to trek on. It says you're unable to join. So I'm sending you an invite. There you go.
I'm back, man.
You're
Listen,
back.
I was trying to. You should mention comments. I'm like, I'm not seeing no comments on here.
Oh,
And then I'm like trying to swipe out. I'm gone.
yeah.
But we back
Don't
though.
swipe anymore because it's taking you out of here. I
All right,
have
I'm
a
just gonna
couple of
leave it as it
questions
is.
from our studio audience. And one person asked, how would you recommend to do intermittent fasting?
Oh, Moses, listen, I do that every day. Life changer. Start doing it. First few days gonna be a little bit difficult, but once you get that habit in, it's gonna work for you to the max. So first of all, those of you who don't know what intermittent fasting is just what it sounds like. Enter in between, right? So it's not necessarily you're doing a full 24 hours. It's just there's a segment of time where you don't consume food, right? So like if you wanted to clean out a trash can, what you gonna do? You gonna take some water and be like, oh, let me steam this whole trash can out with all the trash in it? That don't make no sense because it's like you're actually making more dirty trash water, right? So a lot of people they try to clean their insides. I'm not saying your inside is trash. Some of y'all, your inside is trash and you need to detox right now. But I'm just saying, so you can't hose it down. You know, some people got scared, but you can't hose it down without letting it clear out what's in it. So basically, intermittent fasting is that a period of time where you let your body get rid of all the stuff that's in it, so that way it could bring balance and like your cells can operate in such a way, right? So I'd recommend that you do not a 12 or 14, at least 16, because there's a certain I think it's autophagy or something like that. I don't want to say the wrong word. Sometimes my words is all off. But after 16 hours, there's something that happens within your body where you feel energized, vital. You broke through a certain barrier. So I'd recommend you have your last meal when the sun sets, because there's a reason why the sun set. It's saying wind down. So maybe that's 7 or 8, right? So 12 hours from 7 or 8 is what? 7 or 8 the next day,
Right.
right? And then 16 hours is 4 hours past that. So you'd have your first meal around 11 or 12, right? So intermittent fasting would just mean you eat your last meal at a certain time, you eat your first meal at a certain time. But what you eat for your first meal is important because that means that you are literally breaking a fast. And you don't want to break the fast by putting more dead foods in your belly because it's like you just clean out the trash can and now you made it a cemetery. It was never a trash can to begin with. It was not even a food processor. It was way deeper than that. Your digestive system is connected to emotions, it's connected to so much stuff. People make decisions based on their guts. So it's way deeper than just a machine or a trash can or what I said, it's not a cemetery. It's none of those things. So you have to treat it just like why. So basically, to summarize, you have your last meal at a certain time when the sun sets. You have a first meal 16 hours post. First thing you do when you wake up is hydrate yourself with water. I recommend water and lemon, cucumber. Water, lemon, cucumber. I always do that. I drink my water first thing, hydrate yourself, and you eat fruits or vegetable juice for breakfast if you must. I usually eat that around 10 or 11. Usually drink around 10 or 11 because I like to break my fast within 16 hours. And then after that, I just have my regular day.
Okay. What are some of the herbs? I know you don't want to give away
Listen,
your
I'll tell
detox.
I'll tell you what's in it. I was just saying I want the people to go look for what's happening. You know, I just said so. If you after this, if you want to tap in, you just go to the website
I'm definitely gonna we're gonna
holistic
definitely
life
plug that. Put that in the
holisticlifestyletribe.com. You know, I'm gonna drop it in, and you can get the detox. But listen, the
yeah, put
first
it in
thing you
there
got
so
to
I can pin it.
so let me tell you this. What's most important for the detox isn't necessarily only what you're consuming. It's actually more of what you're not consuming.
Mm,
So that means some of you can start with a water fast. Some people do a grapefruit detox. All right, there's like so many different ways. Some people you might just need to start with a weekend. The Rastafari's got it right, right? Like there's a certain time where they're like, yo, I'm not gonna eat on this day because it's a day where it's gonna be. So you could do a fast 3 days. You could do a 4 day fast, a 7 day fast. But I recommend you start by letting go the first week. The second week you introduce certain things. So you want to know what are those things, what to do. First thing is, and this information is all out there, all on my page. I ain't even gonna try to hide it from you. Is you say you got a juicer. Somebody said they got a juicer. Shout out to you, Queen. Maybe you're gonna tap into the program. And you're gonna need the following ingredients. Okay, the first thing you're gonna need is beets, right? Now the beets has something called betaine, right? That's gonna clean out your blood, literally detoxify, get rid of all the toxins in there. You're gonna need yourself some beets. You know, tell the disease to beat it. You know what I'm saying?
right.
And then now the next thing is now some of the Dr. Sebi fans gonna come after me, but it's gonna be celery, okay? So some people say celery is not even is a man-made food. However, there's been a lot of research that shows of celery helping clearing out that sludge in the blood, clearing out of the arteries. Okay, you got beets, celery, you got ginger. Now, if I gotta tell you about ginger and why you need to consume ginger, uh, come on, man. You've been living under a rock. You got to get to the ginger, okay? Ginger is just full of anti-inflammatory, cancer-killing properties. You need to have that. Then turmeric is that next one right there. A lot of people don't know about it. I'll give you space to not know about turmeric. You better know about that ginger. I'm just kidding,
Right.
but I'm not kidding though. I'm serious.
Right.
So you got ginger, you got carrots, and then you got carrots, right? So those are the ingredients. You juice that and you replace your meals with the juices. And there's a program, there's a system to it. Okay. And then of course, Dr. Love got the famous Detox Kit, right? And if you want to tap into that, listen, all of it is on there. So you're gonna have there's one of them that you're gonna need is a colon cleanser is gonna be the cayenne pepper, right? To clean out the colon, right? You got other things you need for your energy. So there's the bee pollen capsules. You got the agar powder. Then you got what else? There's two other ingredients within it. Okay, you got a stool softener to help you release as you're clearing out all this stuff. So you need a stool softener to release all this backed up stuck food you might have 10 or 15 pounds of. And so that is that. You take those at specific times and you drink teas, you drink water, and you just do it. And then week 3 is when you break the fast. And a lot of people think, yo, okay, if I start letting go and I start adding these things to my diet, and is that good? Can I do it successfully? Well, the thing is, if you do all of that, you climb the mountain. Jesus had to climb the mountain 40 days, 40 nights. You climbed the whole mountain. You spent your 40 days, 40 nights, or 20, or 14 days, 14 nights, and you just, you know what? I'm not even gonna take my time to, go back down. I'm just gonna fall right down. Don't do that. Don't climb the mountain, get to the top, and then fall right on your face, and then undo everything you did
Just
by
did.
just overeating, because now
Right.
you just did the opposite. You just tricked your system.
Yeah.
So you have to, the most important part of this is going to be how you break it, because this is how you're also going to break habits. And this is how you're going to start building new ones. This is how you're going to build a new way of eating. Either now you're going to like, yo, I'm going to do plant-based now. I'm not eating no more meat, or I'm going to go pescatarian. I'm not eating no more chicken or beef, I'm just eating fish. Or I'm gonna go vegan now. I'm not gonna eat meat. I'm not gonna eat dairy. I'm not gonna eat. So you're like,
Right.
you after the fast, it's not just you gotta shift your lifestyle. And if you were already a vegetarian, but you're like, I'm part-time vegetarian, go back to being full-time. You're a part-time vegan, go back to being full-time, and let these be a resets that you get every time you reset. Okay. So once again, I done told y'all, if you like, yo, I like that, you can go out and do your own juice. You can, but you won't have the coaching, right? You want to have that support system, and that's kind of like what I've done was I created a way to text you every day from day one to day 21. Oh, this is what you need to do for day one, day two. You get a video, you get journal prompts, you get access to a community where you can tap in at 7 a.m. and come to a rising prime call. Be able to do the qigong, the movements. So within 21 days, you're not just doing detox, you're doing actually a full-on lifestyle transformation, right? So then you have your own platform where there's modules, right? And within the module, you could go in from day one, day two, day three, day four, and you get text messages, day one, day two, day three, day four, day five. I text you throughout the day, hey, you got any questions? I give you a little motivation, send you a voice note. I just sent out something like, you hungry? Don't eat. But it wasn't like that. It was like I was
I
telling
was
them like
I was definitely getting ready to ask you because we have to come to a close because of the time constraint that Instagram has us to. But I know you are working on so many things. You've got your podcast. You are a qigong instructor. You've got your detox community. Um, what else are you working on that we need to know about and that we need to tap into?
man, listen, all my healers, I just want y'all to connect with me, mastermind, build with me, because my biggest vision is not, just what the healing work is also bringing healers together so that we can build our brands. So one of the major things that I'm focused on in this season is collaboration and mastermind with other healers to be able to create different avenues. So my company Flex Holistic has been in the work for the longest. Actually came from Flex Fitness, like I told you, to Flex Holistic. So one of the greatest things I'm working on is creating that sort of those platforms and avenues to be able to create opportunities for healers to partner together, to work together to be able to do the work, and also connect them to corporations and stuff like that. So basically, if you want to surround yourself with a person like me and Lola, who are doing the work, just keep tapping in with us. Don't be a stranger. Hit us up if you want to collab, right? And that
Absolutely.
way, whatever else comes from that, you're gonna be there.
Absolutely. Oh my God, this has been such a not only transformative but super informative conversation that we definitely need to have in our community. I think this is going to, I know a lot of people are spending December where they're not getting on social media as much because, for whatever reason, but I think that this is a conversation that's going to go out. I'm sending this out to a lot of my followers, and I thank you for coming on, sharing your expertise, sharing your energy, sharing your comedy. I think that you are a
My dry jokes.
beautiful, beautiful spirit, but I understand why you have this, energy and spirit because of the vitality that you have based off of the way that you live. And I think that's super duper important. So I thank you for sharing that with us on tonight. I thank my Hill Black Joy tribe for coming on, tuning in tonight. Thank you guys for always rocking with us every Thursday night at 8 o'clock. Also, be mindful of all the things that we're doing with Hill Black Joy. It is definitely lighting up. We're on TikTok, we're on Facebook, we're on Instagram. Our website is being revamped right now. So make sure you go to hillblackjoy.com to make sure that you're tuned into everything that we're doing with Hill Black Joy. And we will definitely be collabing again. I would love to do something with you again. So to the holistic motivator, thank you again for your energy, your time, and your expertise.
And thank you, Lola, for having me. And I wanted to say that what healing black joy means to me
Yay.
is stepping into your ability to create joy within you, right? And in your ancestry has all the tools. So when we think about black, we really want to think about those African roots because healing black joy means that you are utilizing the tools of the ancestors to cultivate joy within you. That's dancing, that's moving, that's breathing, that's detoxing, that's building a community, right? So healing black joy starts with tapping in to your heritage and utilizing the all this insight and wisdom to live a life that cultivates joy, peace, and love.
I love it. I love it. Thank you so much, man. I really appreciate you.
Appreciate you for having me. Peace.
Peace and love. Bye.